Hello there. I'm Ted Craig, editor-in-chief of Restoration Remediation Magazine, and this is Ask the Expert. Our guest today is Lisa Rogers, president of Mycometer and also the board president of the Indoor Air Quality Association. Hello, Lisa, and welcome to our podcast.
Hi, Ted. Thank you for having me.
Great. So let's start out with a little bit about the association. What's its background and what is its purpose?
Sure. So IAQA was established in 1995 by a group of consultants, contractors, and actually even a media editor was kind of got together, and they decided that they really wanted to put together an organization that where they could share information, but also establish best practices, raise the level of proficiency, and offer some certification training. And of course, to network with others. So that's been going on now for almost 30 years, and we still are the most active, most relevant, and probably the most cognizant organization for indoor air quality in our field. We've just recently updated our Find a Pro section on our website, which is designed to help professionals interact with themselves and collaborate, but also for the public to locate and find professionals to help them solve their indoor air quality problems.
Great. And what is your background? What do you do? Tell us about Mycometer and tell us about how you got into the field.
Sure. So I have been in the field for a very long time. I'm one of the dinosaurs, I think, of IAQ. I started out as a consultant in the phosphate mining industry and fell into environmental health and safety practice. And from there, I traversed a lot of consulting jobs, mostly associated with health and safety, but also indoor air quality issues, asbestos, lead, and all these kinds of things. And finally, just kind of narrowing this path down, I joined, I was one of the founding members of IAQA. And I just kind of fell in love with that topic probably more than anything else. I've been practicing for probably 40 years.
Okay.
That's a long time. But I've spent the last 15 years of my career here at Mycometer, which manufactures and sells rapid technology for measuring fungi, allergens, or bacteria.
What is it that you find appealing about IAQ?
I think it's a lot of things. It impacts everyone because everyone is in buildings of some sort and some kind, whether it's where you live or where your workshop, where you work, or where you're shopping, or it's just every building has the potential for impacting health with the quality of the air and the maintenance of those buildings and the solving of problems. I think that's, what kind of draws a lot of people to it. And I think it's really relevant to not just a small number of people, but it's relevant to everyone.
You have your convention coming up in mid-February. What are going to be the big topics that you're going to discuss there?
Oh, we cover the gamut of new innovative technologies as well as problem solving and unusual case studies. We talk about lead, we talk about asbestos, we talk about fire, forest fires and things like that, and smoke. We talk about restoration and damage post disaster damage. We talk about ventilation and problem solving. A lot of our papers are about that. We have about 53 presentations this year for our conference. So that's a really wide-ranging number of and emergent issues. I think that would be another topic that is going to be covered this time, as well as infectious disease. And of course, there are several topics on the most recent pandemic and just how to do things better and that kind of thing.
Did the pandemic, in your opinion, increase in awareness of IAQ?
Oh, absolutely. I think there's definitely more agenda items on more organizations' lists now. I think building owners are much more aware. It really kind of put us back on our back foot for a little bit, and for some building owners, just because, excuse me, they maybe got a little lazy, especially with in the US, where we almost all our buildings are ventilated with HV, controlled ventilation systems, and you just kind of take certain things for granted. And then all of a sudden something like this comes along and you realize that just a simple thing as your filter on your HVAC can make a big, huge difference in the quality of the air.
I imagine the wildfires have also had an impact.
Oh, absolutely. I think all the disasters have had a tremendous impact in pushing forward indoor air quality issues and occupant health in so many different ways.
Now, in your time as board president, have you taken on any initiatives that are personal interest for you?
Well, I like to say that a personal, as a president of an organization, it needs to be a collaborative effort.
Right.
I have this really wonderful board that we come together so well in the ideas and the priorities. This past year, our priority was membership and member benefits, getting the Find a Pro back up and revamped and revised to make it more interactive and more useful to our members. But it was all about what can we do for our members this next year. That, and I should say, the other thing that we just finished that I'm very proud about is we revised our mission statement and also our logo with a tagline. So our mission statement, I'm going to have to cheat and read it.
Sure.
But our new mission statement is to lead the IAQ industry in education and professional development, and to be an informed resource for the public concerning indoor air quality. And I think that really captures all the things that we do and all the aspirations that we have for not only our members, but also the public, and a resource for media, resource for researchers, resource for the government and other organizations like that. This last past year, we also had several companies or publications reach out to us, like Martha Stewart Living Magazine wanted to do an article on indoor air quality. Kind of interesting.
Yeah.
But we got it was a really, they asked a lot of really good questions, and I thought it was really relevant. I mean, it's getting that indoor air quality out to the public in a very a high profile way, I would say, not probably our usual track, but
Right.
but it was really an honor to be able to be asked for that. And we've done several of those recently. We're also involved right now in the Clean Air campaign. It's an initiative that is being promoted through several organizations. We're coming together, ASHRAE and Indoor Air Quality Association, of course, IBEC, which is an organization out of Australia, and US EPA is involved, and so is the National Institutes of Health. And they're all kind of picking up this mantle again. I think, EPA has a lot of documents out there from the 90s, and I think they kind of lost some funding on the IAQ. They used to have a committee meeting 4 times a year that I participated in, and that kind of fell away, I think, over the last probably 10 years. Just funding, I'm sure, was the main issue, but it's definitely coming back up and more, and not only through EPA and seeing their activities, but also in Congresses, both state and federal Congress. There's some bills that are being passed and brought forward to discuss and deal with or address mold and indoor air quality and infection control and things like that. So it's really exciting time, I think, for IAQ.
I believe there are even some new government imposed requirements for building involving IAQ and ventilation, correct?
Yes, there are. I'm not sure I'm not sure what the status is, if they're kind of finalized yet or not, but yes, there's a lot of conversation going on. And one of our that's another initiative that we really pushed forward this last year was our legislative committee liaison to help keep membership and the leaders together on what's happening in the US and the world. We actually have 83 member countries in IAQA, everything from Nigeria to Vietnam to Canada and Australia and all around. I mean, just completely all around the world. It's just really amazing.
Can you tell me a little bit about the Find a Pro and what you've done with that?
Sure. So Find a Power has been around for probably about 20 years. And it just kind of had maybe people were using it for a while, but it just kind of was a little complicated. It was probably trying to do too much. And so this past year, we worked on streamlining the ability to find the professional for the public to find a professional specific to their indoor air quality concerns. For instance, for smoke, or for mold, or for water damage, or something like that. And then we build it around regional. They build in the regional. They can search by region. They can search by type. There's a limited number of things that you can search on now, but they cover a very broad spectrum. And then once you get into your list of pros, the pros will then, the companies or the individuals will then have a page that you can look at their credentials. It'll show their education and training. It'll show the kind of things that they like to cover and do, their types of their expertise. And so it's just a lot more, it's easier to navigate, but it is a lot more usable information, I would say.
Excellent. So we talked about what you had accomplished in the past year. What are some of your goals with the board going forward for the next year?
Sure. So we just came out of a board retreat for planning our 2023 year. And it was a wonderful workshop in November. One of the things that came out on top, though, is the strengthening of our chapters. So now we've completed our benefits to the membership, and now we want to re-energize the chapters. I think so many organizations lost a lot of chapter activity during the past 3 years, just people not meeting, and it's just kind of lost some of the momentum. So we want to re-engage with the chapters. We are going to provide them a lot more support, so it makes their job easier. All they have to do is show up and have a great speaker and maybe have a beverage or two. We're just going to really enable them to be successful. I mean, that's really what, and that success is through retaining members, finding new members, finding some good speakers, some good topics to cover, and keeping them more engaged in IAQA National as well. I think that's important to kind of close that communication gap.
Okay,
we
great.
have about 25 chapters on our book, so it's pretty extensive. Two of which, we have a chapter in Panama, we have a chapter in India, and we have a chapter in Australia, and then the remaining are in North America.
And those are, I know India and Australia have had some major IAQ issues in the past few years of different types. I imagine Panama has as well, but is that what where you find that people are coming from, that they have something like the fires in Australia or other things that get them more active?
I think absolutely situational disasters definitely kind of push that agenda, but also I think this whole pandemic has made so many people so much more aware. Just the simple thing of ventilation. I've had quite a number of people call, homeowners call and say, what kind of filter should I be using in my home? So it's that, and honestly, indoor air quality is kind of that simple oftentimes. I mean, the simplest solutions are usually the best.
What are some of the technologies, though, that there are simple solutions, but what are some of the technologies you're seeing emerging that help with IAQ in terms of automation or anything like that?
So there are quite a few instrument manufacturers now that are using like wireless Bluetooth to upload reports and data to their customers directly. There's also, I think there's a new resurgence in the use of these localized room ventilators that basically are just recirculating air through HEPA filters, charcoal filters, things like that are just doing extra cleaning of the air, not relying 100% on the air handler. And I think more rapid technologies, just how do I look at an environment more thoroughly? I know there's some new concepts that are coming out to be look at the data and reevaluate that data. There are more sensors, independent sensors that are used to integrate into, we have smart homes, smart buildings now, makes those sensors so much easier. And I suspect that there's going to be some kind of AI coming out as well that'll start to be able to maybe solve some problems, like integrate with a sensor, and then, okay, this is happening, our CO2 is going up, let's open up the outdoor air down, and it'll just kind of be automated unless less human dependent, if you will. So I don't know. I mean, like, it's so far open. I mean, how do we control those fire, the smoke from the wildfires? That's kind of an overwhelming problem. I know this is a problem they've been dealing with in India for a lot longer, because they still burn a lot. They use a lot of, use a lot of burning fuel.
A lot of open fires there right now. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. So I think we're going to see also more efficient filtration. Maybe, maybe there's some other types of filtration. I don't know. I get excited because I love going to these conferences to see these new products, and it's what's kind of really interesting. We have 53 vendors.
Wow.
Yes. So we're completely sold out in our exhibit hall. So I'm just really proud for that.
And do you have any idea how many attendees are going to be there? Do you know?
We're headed towards 400. So
okay.
Yeah,
that's a good showing for you, I imagine.
It is. A lot of conferences have been losing membership, and of course, over the pandemic, our numbers started to fall. But we had the best year ever in 2019, and not the best year ever, but in a really great year from some tougher years in 2019, and we're pushing that envelope again. So I'm excited about that. And of course, we're going to be in Austin, Texas. So that's an easy place to get to, and it's a totally fun town.
Sure. When did you resume live meetings?
This year in 2022.
Okay, so 2022 was your first return to live meeting.
Well, and we were very lucky as an association that in 2020, our meeting being in February, finished just before the pandemic exploded. So we had a really great, actually, I should say 2020 was our best meeting, not 2019. 2020, we had over 500 people. And so that was a really great meeting. We had a hybrid meeting in 2021. Then
it didn't really work that great.
No, it was really tough. I mean, I think everybody was so tired of it all. And then this year we had another great meeting out in Tucson, Arizona.
Okay. And now on to Austin.
Now Austin. And then next year it will be in Florida.
Oh, okay, great.
Yes.
Excellent. Okay.
We got to spread the love.
Well, you answered all of my questions. Is there anything you would like to add, or you'd like to address?
No, I just, if anyone has any questions or would like to get more information about indoor air quality, about the conference, please go to our website, or you can text me or email me directly. My email address is lrogers@mycometer.com. That's mycometer.com. Or you can go to the IAQA website at iaqa.org.
Excellent. All right. Thank you very much, Lisa.